Hey, it's Truck and Tanker Yanker, and I got a story for you. And this is what it is. I fought the unionization of my company, and I won. And this is a story of how it went.
Breaker, this is the Truck and Tanker Yanker. I'm 10-8 with my 10 in the wind. My heaters are glowing, my manners are showing. Wind her up, let her go, come on. I'm your travel agent with a story to tell. Let's go for a ride.
All right, I'm back now. All right, I just wanted to tell you about how the union tried to take over my company, and I fought them off, and I won. Now, it's not what you're thinking. It wasn't like the Teamsters, the AFL-CIO, wasn't pipe fitters. There wasn't any kind of union like that. It was the Russians. Could have been the mob. Could have been the mafia. It was a little mafia. Little mafia. That's what the Russians called it. Little mafia. And that's what it was. Little mafia. Well, here's how it went. Well, I had a bunch of trucks, I don't remember how many, domiciled in Portland. And I think I had 12 drivers. Now, actually, I didn't have any Russian drivers. And they were very persnickety about being called Russian. I mean, just because you speak Russian and you come from the Soviet Union does not make you Russian. Because I don't think they liked Russians over there. I'm just saying. The guys that worked for me were Ukrainian, Belarusian. They were, we call it Belarus. They were Georgian. I think that was it, through Ukraine, Belarus, and Georgia. I think was the drivers that worked for me were from those particular Soviet bloc countries. And so anyway, they all spoke Russian, but they had native languages from their native, like Belarus and Georgia, and the Ukrainians. They have their own dialect, which sounds Slavic to us. It sounds like Russian to us, but to them it's different. And I don't know how different, but it is. So anyway, so a lot of my Russian guys spoke very broken English. And I found because they come from a different perspective altogether. I mean, different cultural perspective. And they weren't very, this is in the early to mid 90s. They weren't very worldly wise. They only saw things from their own perspective. Didn't realize that people thought differently in different cultures. Like, for instance, Mikhail. We just called him Michael, and he called you know, and he's got a son he named after me. There's a little Russian kid running around named Dennis. And he's Dennis, it's my little Dennis. He wasn't little, he was a little chunk. Maybe that's why he named him Dennis, because I'm a chunk. And he's like, he named that little chunk Dennis. Anyway, so Michael, he one time said to me, very gregarious, very nice guy. Love Michael an awful lot. He's just a great guy. Taught me an awful lot. I learned a lot about culture in the Soviet Union and what it's like to live under a communist dictatorship. All right? All right. I may be swerving into politics, but I'll just tell you right now, I'm anti-communist, all right? Okay. So, anyway, so Michael, he says, why do you say to me, bye-bye, on phone? And I'm like, what's wrong with bye-bye? He goes, it's like, chop, chop, I'm done with you, leave. Wow. So that's culturally, that's kind of what he would hear whenever I said, all right, we'll talk to you later, bye-bye. All he heard was like, chop, chop, I'm done with you. And I'm like, well, what do you say in Russian? He says, we say "do svidaniya." And I'm like, what does "do svidaniya" mean in Russian? And he says, you're my very good friend. I like you very much. I see you some other time. Oh, okay. I says, that's what bye-bye means in American. He goes, oh! Then he was like, completely okay with bye-bye. Well, we all know bye-bye is short for goodbye, which is to wish medieval times, good day, goodbye, good night is to wish, is like a blessing. and it's to ward off evil spirits, and it's that type of thing. So it's a well wish, and we just shortened it down to chop chop. I'm done with you. No, I mean goodbye, which is the nice way to do it. You're my very good friend. I like you very much. Bye bye. So anyway, he was okay with that. So like I say, different cultural perspective. Everybody looks at it differently. Well, so I found it best, because of the different cultural perspective, to have a lead driver for my 12 Russian drivers that basically, gave them their schedules and, this type of thing, communicated with them on a level that they understood. They respected him. They respected me, kind of like I was the President of the United States kind of respect, like they didn't even know what to think about me hardly, and I tried to be a nice guy and everything like this, but they just held me in way too much reverence, it seemed like. But anyway, so this guy spoke on their wavelength. So I had a lead driver that did all my communicating. Well, I would go to Portland and visit every now and again and see how things were going and have a meeting with my lead driver over there, and so I took my lead driver out to lunch one day at a nice restaurant, and anyway, so we're talking about business, and I had things I had to go talk about and whatever, business, just doing business, you do business, and it was over lunch, and so he said, Dennis, I need raise. And I said, I laughed, and I'm like, oh yeah, me too. And he goes, no, he says, I need raise. He says, if I don't get raise, I quit. I quit, everybody quit. But he meant quit. And I said, you're already making more money than anybody, and I'm paying you really well. And I was paying him really well. When I went out of business, I wasn't making half of what he made. After I went out of business and got a job, being a truck driver again for somebody else. Anyway, he says, I don't get raise, I quit, everybody quit. And I said, you're fired. I just looked at him like my serious as a heart attack, 1,000-yard stare across the table. I said, you're fired. Get out of here. He says, I'm joking. I smiled and I said, me too. That's all we had to say about it. Anyway, interestingly enough, I actually sold part of my company to him, and I, as part of it, just because he was a good friend and I liked the guy, and I offered advice, or when he asked me for advice, I gave him advice, and helped him in that type of thing, because I sold one of my companies to him, and so anyway, I can remember him saying to me, Dennis, drivers, problems. And I smiled at him. And I'm thinking, I wonder if anybody's tried to unionize on him yet. Anyway, but that's what it is, And when you can only see things from your perspective, you want your lot in life to be better. Whatever it is, whether you're the employee or whether you're the employer, and you really can't see the other guy's position. And so he can compartmentalize from one to the other, not even realize he was part of the problem at one time. But I really enjoyed the education that I got from my Russian drivers, and I'll probably in the future, I'll tell you about some of the things that Michael told me about what life was like in the communist system for Christians in the Soviet Union. And my very first driver was Ukrainian. The very first driver I ever hired was a Ukrainian guy, and he told me stories about where he grew up and how that was. And we just have no concept here. We're so privileged. And even when we think things are bad, it's not bad. Not by comparison. Go to a communist country and see how the average guy lives. We have it pretty good in the United States of America, in Canada, Western Europe. We got it really good. There's a lot of places in the world where life is cheap and life is hard. But hey, I'm going to keep it on the upside, and I want you to keep the upside clean and the downside dirty. All right? All right, don't be a bumper sticker. Look on past your hood ornament, right? Because I'm Truck and Tanker Yanker, and I want you to be safe. Hit the subscribe button if you like this kind of content, and if you like it, give her a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Ask me a question. I'm open to questions. I answer anything. If you want me to tell a story about something in particular, I'll tell a story about something in particular. Just got to ask me. Hit subscribe, because we are in a subscribe drive, right? And hit the bell, ring the bell, so you can get notified when the next video comes out. And we try to get videos out on Tuesday and on Friday. Every Tuesday and every Friday there's a video coming out, unless I have had a really rough week and I didn't get any videos made during the week. You know, the best time to make a video for me is when I'm broke down. I'm sitting here on the side of the road, and I got a book. I got Angry Birds on my phone. I got a book. But I'm broke down. I can read a book for a couple hours, and I can get my Angry Bird up to date. And then I was like, all right, I think I'll make a couple of videos. But you don't even know that I made a whole bunch of videos in one spot, because I'll change my hair, I'll change my glasses, I change my hat, I change my coat, make it look like I did it over the course of 6 months. And you don't even know that I did it all in one 4-hour period. That's because I'm talented, and I'm the Truck and Tanker Yanker, and I'm also conceited. But that's what happens when you're a tanker yanker. You kind of get prima donna status. You've been doing this for 35 years, and I call my dispatcher, I go, hello, this is your favorite prima donna. Nah, I don't do that. They may think I think that way. Sometimes I kind of feel that way. But that's not the way to go. Keep the dirty side down, clean side up. Look on past the hood ornament. Don't be a bumper sticker. Subscribe. And we'll see you again. Same time, same station, same Trucker Yanker. That's right, Truck and Tanker Yanker. Don't forget it. We gone.